or someone you know been affected by mental health or substance use disorder? Well, you are not alone. Welcome to the podcast, Riverfront Talks, Substance Matters. I am Tiffany Moore, the coordinator for the Beaufort County 360 Behavioral Health Task Force. We're going to sit down and have some in-depth conversations with individuals who may have struggled themselves with mental health or substance use disorder, or perhaps know someone who has struggled. Either way, we're going to have some inspiration, motivation, and maybe even some tearjerkers. Welcome to the podcast, Riverfront Talks, Substance Matters. Welcome back to Riverfront Talks, Substance Matters. We are back for part 2. We are still here at Ignite Church in Chocowinity. I have Kelly Ainge as my co-host,
hey
Angie.
guys.
We have our special guest. We are back with him for the remainder of his story. This is Coach Clarence Baker, as I like to call him, Brad. But we're going to pick up where we left off in the previous episodes, and they're going to stop cutting up. So you were telling us about you being involved with the Crip gang, basically your whole life. Familial relations, you were just kind of grandfathered in, or I know that's not how it happens, but.
Well, no, well, they call it being blessed in. When there's a high-ranking official, you don't have to do any of the usual dirty work to get in, especially when somebody has clout, has pull, has sway. I never officially took any oath, but I was more of it than anybody else. Like, I was the one that you called, my handle was Hott Hedd, HOTTHEDD. Does that mean I didn't think, I just did, because that was another way of feeling light. And a lot of people would be surprised, like the areas where Crip was and the areas affected by it. Like they thought that, like Kelly was saying, oh, not my area, not my child, not my school. Just using my life, working as a behavior specialist at Amherst Elementary, we had third graders that could stack and spit the knowledge better than guys that I used to slap or beat up because they didn't and take their red flag because they didn't know their stuff, or take their blue flag because they didn't know their stuff.
Wow.
But there was third through fifth graders that in Pitt County, that was about 5 years ago, that they are really gang.
They're banging.
Yeah,
well,
like people can say what they want. Those kids, you don't know that unless you're tied in.
Wow. And in all likelihood, with them being that small, would they be blessed in, or you?
No,
think?
more than likely, 9 times out of 10. Like that's one of the ones where it's like you have no choice. Like it's not that you're forced; it's just that it's everywhere.
It's a way of life.
Yeah.
Wow.
And just so I heard you correctly, you said 3rd through 5th grade.
Oh yes. There was a 2nd grader too.
Wow.
And I G-checked, and they knew their stuff. Like they knew their stuff.
Wow. Oh, okay. That is disturbing to hear, but the lesson behind that is, like you said, it happens a lot closer to home than most people think. You know, probably everybody going into this and wrapping up part 1 was thinking, oh, well, this all happened in Florida.
Oh yeah.
You were in Aurora.
Oh yes.
And you were
Oh yes.
a Crip. You were selling drugs. You were doing stuff in Aurora that people would characterize as big city, Florida, New York type things.
And they never knew it. Like right under their noses. Everybody. I got my worker's permit at 13, and I was working at the Piggly Wiggly under John Lilly. Miss Barbara and Miss Sandra were the managers, and they always saw me either playing football at Snowden, Southside, working at Loretta's Pizzeria as a nighttime shift manager, bagger stocker at Piggly Wiggly. But even those closest to me, 2 guys that were always with me, they never knew.
Like you said, you were kind of undercover. You didn't want to mess up your reputation, ruin your name.
Oh, yeah.
Potentially, whatever you were planning to do in the future relied on you being discreet.
Oh, yes.
But you were doing all this stuff kind of in the background.
Oh, yes.
Wow. Well, I wanted to point that out for parents that are watching this podcast. Just again, we go through and we're focused on prevention when we can be preventative, but just so you know, it's occurring here, it's occurring in our county. But we're going to move on. Y'all will hear me talk about that later. But so at this point, you were 17. You were getting ready to tell us about how you had started ordering pills offline. Or drugs. I'll say drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Or substances. Keep going with that.
I laugh because, like I said, we thought that we were ordering Molly. And then we paid somebody to answer the door because we just knew that it was going to be a fed. Because at this time, like, we would put it like this. I got stopped one night, and EJC was sitting, I was driving her car, and a cop was following me, and I said, watch this. So instead of turning like I'm supposed to into the condominiums that we lived, so, you know, I was supposed to turn into this one. I turned into the opposite one just so the cop would pull me over because I had a point to prove. I was like, yo, let me show you how made we are right now. The cops hit his lights. For one, I didn't pull over when he told me to. I drove all the way to my condominium purposely. I didn't go fast in there. I drove the speed limit, 35. I'm usually doing my 5 over. I drove 35. I said, I'm about to piss this cop off in every way, shape, form, or fashion. I said, I bet he'd give me my license. And he apologized to me. They sitting there, they're sweating, they're shaking in their boots. There's open cans. I'm sitting there holding the beer can in my hand.
Wow.
The cop comes up. What's up, Ossifer? Just to piss him off even more. After I done drove another, mile and a half, after he lit me up, like they said, light him up. After he lit me up, he said, license and registration. No, I said, what's up, Ossifer? License and registration? I said, hey, my license, I don't got a registration. This is not my car, I ain't getting it to you. He grabbed my license. I said, just go run it real quick. And I said, and come back and give me my shit back. He looked at me, I said, do your job. I said, you gonna realize who I am. He grabbed my license, and if where you sitting is the car, I was in the driver's seat. He took 3 steps, he looked, you saw him do this? He did this, he took a deep breath and he came back, he said, have a nice day. I said, thank you, as I poured my beer out right there in front of him.
Wow.
That's how made we were at that time.
Because most people at that point would have been freaking out.
Mm-hmm. And the minute they saw that beard, and at that time, that was just like any other time. That's in Myrtle Beach. That's where the task force gang ward was in town. When the gang ward is in town, if you're affiliated with red, you don't wear anything red. Blue, you don't wear anything blue because you're already pictured, you're already tagged. Mm-hmm. So the minute they see you wearing colors, that's probable cause. Yeah. And we didn't care. Like, I had 6 flags on me everywhere I went because I knew they couldn't touch us.
But you said you were major.
We were tied in. We were tied in with the type of people that they used to pay you $1,500 to trail them, and if the cop got behind him, you went flying past the cops to gain their attention, so they'll leave the packaged car alone. And if that didn't work, you just grazed them. And they were gonna get you out that night. Like, no, I don't care what state you're in, you were getting out that night. I promise you.
That is very, very interesting.
Oh yeah, like, but a lot of people, they'll never know it because I was Clarence Baker. Like, I was calculated.
You definitely made. You had that kind of pull.
It was funny too.
Yeah, sounds like you engaged in a lot of risky behavior then, but it was kind of, you felt like you had a pass.
No, I knew I did. Like, no, I knew for sure. Like, the people that approached us, because they said, since we can't get rid of you, you're knocking off all our people. And we were fearless. Like, we never hid. Like, we knocked off their people and we went out to the clubs that their higher ups hang out at that same night.
Wow.
We would be at that club, seen by them, leave, do that, come back, and they in their eyes, we never left the club, but they knew it was us because we didn't wear masks.
Wow. Everybody else wore masks, or it was typical to wear them?
Oh, heck yeah. That's if you're afraid. Like, why are you doing it if you're wearing a mask? Like, you're doing that to make a statement. Like, that's how me and my boys were. It was like, if you're robbing somebody, you're doing it to emasculate them and prove a point. Like, I tell you once again, I didn't like lying to people, so if I had a mask on, I was lying to them. They're guessing who did it. Don't guess. And I did the same thing. I smiled the whole time and laughed.
Wow. You have definitely lived a very, very interesting life. And you've actually exposed a lot of things here that, with all the episodes we've done, I don't think some of this stuff we've heard at all.
My life's a movie, like, but that's why I cry so much. God's good. Anyways, we'll get to God later.
Okay.
Because right now, because no, I feel bad because right now I'm putting myself in the mind of what I was still ducking him. So it's not that God isn't good. God is always good, and I always honored him, but I would literally ducked him purposely. Like I did everything I could to like drown his voice out.
Because you were still justifying.
Yep.
And you thought that I can make everything right this way, so I don't need you right now. I'm not ready yet.
See, no, I knew I needed. Yeah, see, yeah, not ready yet. Not ready yet. Yes, not ready, because I knew it would all come to an end, and I didn't know.
Because there's still more of your journey we hadn't heard yet. You're getting ready to move us somewhere we're not ready to go
Sorry,
yet.
I felt it for a second.
So, okay, tell us, because I think parents and especially people here again, we're in this rural county and people just feel like, oh, this stuff is on the news, it don't happen around here. So one way that you were getting these drugs, you keep going with that, your next phase of drugs, I think.
2008, it's 2005, 17 years ago, 38, 21 years old. We're trying to, I see somebody do that in a movie. That really happens. I'm sorry. They use the dates to figure out their age. I'm sorry. That's a hype moment. I never thought I'd do that. Have to do that. But 21 years old, and we thought we were ordering Molly. We paid somebody to stay there all night long. We partied all night long because we knew the exact date it was going to come. It didn't come on that date that we had the person there that like was paid to get the package. So in our minds, okay, the Fed sees the package, it's not coming. The very next morning, my boy Kumpf, KML, you'll never be able to figure it out from there. I knew too many people, I ran with too many people, but Kumpf, he staggered to the door. Me and him were the only ones up, and I heard the doorbell ring, and I immediately knew that something wasn't right, because nobody knocks or rings on our doorbell. Like, you don't come there without calling or texting, alerting somebody that you're coming. So I knew not to answer the door. But Kumpf was drunk, got up drunk, staggering from partying all night, and he opens up the door, and here's this big, bulging, like, I'd say about a 10 by 12 clasp envelope. And the guy's like, sign for this. As soon as I heard that, I took off running out the back door. I'd never been to jail or prison. Out of everything I did, I'd never been to jail or prison. Wow. I would go on the run quick. Like, quickly. I mean, like, leave everything. Like, don't take anything. Take off.
You just had like an intuition, something wasn't right.
Oh, yeah. I get a phone call. Do what you call. We had a golf course behind our house, and I don't know what hole it was, but for instance, I was by the fourth hole. We lived by the 9. Mm-hmm. By the time he called me, I got that far away. I was gone. I turned around and I came back, and he opens it up and just drops this big thing. Long story short, we thought we had Molly, and for 2 days, like, we had to make sure that we knew what it was. Like, so we sampled it. And because I didn't sell anything if I didn't test it.
That's the part you hadn't touched on yet.
Yeah, and we got it out, and it's like, yo, this supposed to be powder. Yo, we must got some good stuff. So with Molly, you're supposed to finger dab it. You know, you tap your finger, so I and put it in a. 2 days later.
So you liked it when you dabbed at that time.
Yes. And for 2 days straight, we didn't know it was 2 days. 2 days straight, we happened.
What was it?
It was synthetic heroin. That jump broke my heart, and I fought everybody in the house, including like the one closest to me. I love him to death, but I fought everybody.
Did he know? Do you think he knew?
Probably not, but they the ones ordered it. It was their idea. They the ones brought it up, and they the reason why, like, I unknowingly did heroin. That broke my heart.
Did you do it anymore after that?
Oh no, they did.
They did?
Yes, but no, like skiing the slopes, white, Yoda, yeah. From time to time, I used it as a reset button when I was too drunk. Like I said again, we did a lot of things to a lot of people. So whenever there was a lot of people watching me, go to the bathroom. We had a call we did. I can't do it because that people probably know who I'm. We had a call we did. And you heard that call in the club. It was for instance, like, something like that. And we met in the bathroom instantly. It was in the time that one dummy didn't hear it, but he was with them, not me. But we met in the bathroom, and we'll do a line because we know that something's about to happen, so we had to reset. But I did it from time to time when I started thinking too much. Usually when I was drinking, I didn't think. Like, life was a blur, kind of like that movie Requiem for a Dream. But when it wasn't, like when it didn't suffice, or whenever things didn't suffice, that's when it would be the pills. And when this one or the mixture of these didn't do it, then it'd be the coke. And then none of it was doing it, so that's why it was the Molly. Now, we did end up getting our hands on Molly.
You did?
Yes. And it was exciting for like 2 days.
And it still didn't give you that light, didn't feel that void, didn't.
And that began my slow decline away from, because also thankfully around that time, when I realized that nothing lasts long enough, honestly, it was nothing but God, because I had my first daughter, Isabella J. Bunyard. And my dad, again, he did 17 years from out of my life. He went to prison when I was in 7th grade. And I told him, I wrote to him in a letter, I said, I would never let my kids see how I felt. I would never spend a day away from them. Like I said, even if I'm not right there with them, I would never have my freedom taken to where I can't get to them. And
do you think, I know we got the 10, the 11, the 12-year-old. But it sounds like, especially with what you just said, that was the catalyst. Losing your dad.
Oh, yeah.
With the 10-year event, the 11-year event, do you think you could have handled all of that if you would have had your father?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. But it's also the best thing that ever happened to me, because I show my kids how to be the best version of them. He was trying to mold me. But like I tell everybody, the 2 best things that ever happened to me, the 3 best things that happened to me: losing my dad, getting shot, and meeting my wife. Because she was the first time I ever felt love. I knew that, okay, hold on, tingle, tingle, that's love, yay. And those were my 3 favorite events. Like, people think I'm crazy, but losing my dad, getting shot, and meeting my wife, those are the only 3 things that needed to happen in my life.
So it sounds like you're taking me to where you were starting to transition. You started to give yourself a reality check, and
Oh yeah.
All honesty, I guess, for lack of a better words, that's kind of what started happening. Your daughter was born. Take us through that, and then, because it sounds like we're getting ready to
I
transition.
still remember that
I'll be
phone
excited.
call. Like, I couldn't sleep that night for some reason. I still, like, I'll take drinks, but I would never let myself get past. I used to stop right before buzzing, where it's that little warm feeling in your belly, tickle in your throat. I wouldn't even really smoke weed. Time to time I would, but I didn't like the feeling anymore. I didn't like the cloudy headedness. I didn't like not controlling when I went to sleep. Like, 'cause sometimes you just wake up and when did I go to? I didn't like that anymore because I was expecting her. When I got the phone call, like, me and my boy Omar, in gym shorts and flip flops, me and him jogged 5 miles to the studio that we recorded, and I recorded this song called February 19th, the first day of the rest of my life. That was the song, February 19th.
That's your daughter's birthday?
And that was the first day of the rest of my life.
And you, for all intents and purposes, at that point, the pills had stopped, the coke had stopped, the weed had stopped.
Well, it was controlled.
It
Was now past 12 years stopped, but then it was controlled. It was moderation. It was for celebratory purposes, like, and it was like, oh, this whole one to get me tight. I'm just gonna tickle the twine. So, like, I won't even break it in half, like fourths. So it wasn't to feel light anymore. It was to make me want to party, make me want to celebrate. It was no longer like, hell, it was more like, dang, yo, I'm a party pooper. Like that.
So that was kind of like your social trigger, where you were able to enjoy being around other people, but you didn't want to feel like out of it, or.
Oh no.
And at this point, did you even need this? Going back to your original statements, did you have that same need to be light, or was it starting to be lighter?
Oh, it was starting to be lighter. Only time I needed to be light, I mean, it was far and wide, but then it was like pre giving my life to God completely. It was like, how do I describe it? It was when I needed to be light. It was, man, I'm gonna take a shot, or man, let's go record, or let's go play basketball. When other things didn't suffice, then I'd be like, all right, real small pinch of a pill. Like, I had given up the selling. Like, I just couldn't do it no more. I was not going to take any chances. Like, because I was on edge, and I was that a-hole guy, I knew I wasn't going to be touched. But now that I'm trying to be better, and I always was conscious, and I knew that now that I'm making sure I don't get in trouble, that this is when I would get in trouble. So that's when it was like, you can't be selling. Oh no, you're right. But you are really. No, I'm really not. Like, but I couldn't even calculate play the role anymore. Like, my boys, they hated it. Like, when I told them, I was like, yo, I'm no longer affiliated with Crip. I'm not selling anymore. Like, all of them, they were heartbroken. They were mad at me for legit. It took my closest friend probably about 5 to 6 years. I know it was like 5.5, 6 years before he reached out to me before he responded back. Because I still let him know, man, I still love, but bro, look, I can't do that no more. Like, I was that person that be driving, whether my head's down or my head's up, I knew when we were being followed by cops. Like, I always, like, still to this day, I be driving like, it's a cop a mile ahead up. I don't know how. I always know. But I'll be sitting there driving, I'll be like, yo, 3 cars back, somebody following us. Man, you ain't even looking up. Even when I wasn't looking up, I was still aware, I was still watching. I watched all mirrors. When I left, all of them got locked up. The Fed, it's so funny, and I could talk about this now publicly. Like, the Feds dropped the book in front of my boys, and they went through this thick tail book. They had pictures with me with them. I'm the only person they never had a picture of hand in hand.
Wow.
Because I never did it to make a lot of money. I never did it to be a hot boy. I did it to get by. So if I got 10 phone calls, I'll sell to 1, or I'll sell to 2. Because I mean, $80 a gram, and you're not coming at me for a gram. I'll laugh at you. So it's like you're making $400 or $500 a sale. So like, why are you making 10 sales? $5,000. All you're gonna do is go to the club and waste it. So I used to make myself make enough that I would cherish it.
And if you had folded to the pressures that you were getting from your friends, your boys, you didn't want to Crip anymore, you didn't want to sell anymore, you would have been locked up then.
Nope.
You don't think so?
No, I know. No, I'm serious. Like I'm like, it's so crazy. People like, cause they didn't believe me then. Like I know I wouldn't have. I'm divine protection. I swear. Like it's times where, put it like this. I want to tell about this moment because a lot of people always talk about the glitz. A lot of people talk about the glitz and glams of the lifestyle. I gotta say this because young men, young women need to hear this. There came a point where I didn't trust my closest friends. I used to sleep with my hand on the trigger and with the pistol under my pillow. And twice, like I would sleep and probably just nerves touching, I twitched and pow! But what made me stop completely, one night, my daughter's crib was over there, but she wasn't in it. It wouldn't have hit her, but the bullet went right above where her bassinet would be.
Wow.
And I told them I'm done with them, because if I got to be that on the edge, I don't trust y'all that much. Because, I mean, we're robbing so many people. Mm-hmm. Like, we robbed some of their best friends. Like, I've never done that. But, hey, man, let's rob this. I went alone because I had to protect them, because they weren't always, like, all of them didn't make the smartest decisions. The ones that did make the smart decisions, they know that they're good. The dummies, you the dummy. I mean, Come on, man. I called them that then. But I did that to protect them. But when I twitched and pow, and I saw that bullet went through the wall right above. It wouldn't have hit her, but it went right above where her bassinet was. Oh, no.
So I'm going to move us forward because your story is so interesting and so much to it that time is flying by. But we're starting to get to this transition. We're trying to get to where you are now. You had an epiphany about 26 because of an incident. Very brief, let's give us that, because I want to focus on where you are. I want to wrap up with where you are in your life now and what you do, because again, It sounds like you've had a guardian angel with you for a long time.
Getting shot in 2013 made me realize that this Plies song said I kept it too real. I was the person that I got shot, making sure they didn't get jumped, didn't even come see me in the hospital. I had been told, come out from amongst them. And right then I realized that I'm in the wrong place, the wrong time, all the time. And just at that time I was in church when I got shot, like big time in church, ordained minister at that time. And I knew it was time for me to say goodbye to street-minded people. I'll never say bye to the streets because that's my ministry, but people being around them and them calling me friend, it was over for that.
Yeah. And you were 26 then, right? Going forward, what are you doing now? Tell me what we're calling you, Coach. Tell me this lightness that you got going
myself on. To make sure no other ever feel empty, ever feel, never be misled, never feel like they're going without. Constantly giving my all to the community, starting leagues, being a part of Ignite Church, FCA, doing all I can for the youth, like prevention, and snatching out.
And intervention if you got to.
Yes.
And you got your light. That light is there. I see it in your eyes. I see it in your skin. I feel it in your aura. You got your light.
It's possible.
I hear you got a catchphrase, okay? I'm finna wrap it up. I got about 30 seconds left. I hear you have a catchphrase. I need for you to look at the camera.
You're no longer selling.
Oh, I'm no longer a dope dealer. I'm a hope dealer, helping others prosper eternally. Oh, yes. No longer a dope dealer, a hope dealer.
All right, y'all. Hopefully, our hope dealer here has said something that'll inspire somebody, at least a parent, to kind of take notice of what's going on. Again, a lot of things were covered here. We are appreciative of your time. We are appreciative of Angie. See y'all later. Thank you all for joining us for this episode of Riverfront Talks, Substance Matters. If you are from the Beaufort County area and know someone who is suffering from mental health and substance use disorder and may be looking for resources, my information is below in the description. We also would like your feedback to gather input about today's episode. Please also complete the short survey listed in the description. A special thank you to our sponsors, ECU Health Beaufort Hospital and KB Reynolds Charitable Trust. Like, share, and subscribe. See you later.